Well, in the summer, all this is just a big bay, nothing but water and a few icebergs. And it's actually, we use this for many things. We can go ice fishing on it. Also, it's a good way to get fresh water. You can see out here there are a couple of icebergs, frozen solid, in the bay. Normally there's a lot more, but at this time of year they've gotten a lot smaller and, well, few. So you have to walk pretty far. It takes about, I guess, 1 hour to walk out to that one, straight there. And then you cut off ice. Then you bring home, just brush them off, put some water on it to get the salt water off, and then melt it for drinking water. Yeah, 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 hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, yeah, yeah, hey. Hey, yeah, yeah, 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 hey. So all the icebergs in this area come from the glacier, Gangia, in Ilulissat. And because of all this ice there is now, we can't get any supplies, but we're used to that. So we used to take dog sledge over here to go to the big city. It's about 1-2 hour trip on a dog sledge. You can also see it on the way our dogs are put on the sledge. We use a half moon form instead of they do in, where is it? Alaska and Canada. They use the 2 and 2 and 2. We use a half moon because that's the best way to use when you drive over ice. The dogs, they can change position accordingly to who wants to pull most. The more they are to the center, the more they pull. The farther they are out in the moon, the less they pull. And when you go a long distance over flat terrain like ice, then that's the best way to do it. Wait. And down here is where in the summer they bring up whales. So also in the summer you can see a lot of whale bones down here. The last couple of years it hasn't been good ice because it hasn't been so big that we can go around it, or so small we can get through it. It has been in between, so all the boats get just stuck in the ice. So we can't go anywhere on the boats. And we can't even use dog sledge because it's not solid enough. So we're kind of trapped where we are because the ocean is our highway. That's how we get around. Either on dog sledge in the winter or boats in the summer. That when I was a kid, every day, every single day, you heard sounds that sounded like thunder. But it wasn't. It was these giant icebergs cracking apart. Just one single crack in one of these 50-meter tall icebergs sounded like a thunderbolt. And us, my generation, we grew up with that. We grew up with that sound. And now it's gone. So some of my friends and I, we really feel like that our childhood memories are melting away with the ice. Well, in those times when they were so big, it was very dangerous to approach them because if just one, well, relatively small piece cracks off, it can cause a huge wave. But when they're smaller, they also have a habit of turning more often. It doesn't have the same amount of power that it used to. It just flips. We always been told if you see an iceberg turning, get away. Normally all this way over here we have to drag our boats. because when it freezes, the boats are normally by the harbor, back there. So when the ice comes, we have to dig the boats free from the ice and then pull them about, I don't know, 500 meters or more, all the way to the ice here, so we can put them in the water. Otherwise, well, we have to wait too long to be able to sail again. Especially now when there's no ice on the ocean anymore. We can sail back and forth. So it would be a shame not be able to use your boat. One good thing about the ocean not being frozen anymore is that we can go fishing early. Actually, normally we had to wait a bit more before we were able to go fishing. But now we can go fishing and hunting because the ice is open. Well, Greenland has never really been a place or had a culture where we had gods, because we always had nature, and nature has been so great. So we had some that maybe could be categorized as gods, and one of them is the Mother of the Ocean. The Mother of the Oceans lives at the bottom of the ocean in a small house. And one of our oldest myths is about how she became the Mother of the Oceans, because originally she was just a woman, a girl. A long time ago, there was a girl living with her father. Her mother had passed away. But she wouldn't marry. And that is always a problem, because who should take care of the father when he gets old? So no matter who came to her, she wouldn't marry. Then one day came a guy with long dark hair and a bit of a pointy face and said that he wanted her. She said no, but he didn't care. Then took her and dragged her to his boat and sailed. The father didn't really care, because he thought, well, it's her own fault. Then when they were halfway to his home, he showed who he really was, and he was the Raven Man. A figure which is not good. He's kind of a Greenlandic demon. She became so scared, and he said to her that now she had to do everything for him, stay in his house and do everything for him. And she had no choice but to. And she began to live there. But one day, her father, who had become so sad for what he'd done, went to look for her and found this small house, and came in and said to his daughter that he wanted to take her away and back home, because, well, it wasn't fair what he did. Then they went to the boat and sailed, but suddenly she shouted, and they both looked up, and the Raven Man was circling their boat high in the sky. They became so frightened, and the father didn't know what to do, because it was only then he realized who the man who took her was. So he didn't want to get killed or eaten. So he pushed his own daughter out of the boat to save himself. She grabbed onto the edge of the boat because, well, most Greenlandic people actually don't know how to swim. How could we learn? So she held on, and the Raven Man came farther and farther down to the boat. The father took his knife and cut out off the first piece of her fingers. When those pieces fell into the ocean, they became all the small animals in the ocean, fish, and all the small, halibut and so on. She still wouldn't let go. The Raven Man came closer and closer, so the father cut the next piece of her fingers. When they fell into the water, it became the bigger animals, like seals. But she still wouldn't let go of the boat. The Raven Man was nearly so close that he couldn't catch them, so the father cut off the last piece of her fingers. And while they fell into water, it became the bigger animals, the whales, like orcas and blue whales. And then she couldn't hold on because she had no fingers, and fell into the water and sank. the father got away, but she became so angry and so mad that she watches man for the bad things they do. One of the things is she have no fingers, so she actually can't comb her hair. And all the things we do wrong, if we break any rules that society has, the bad things we do become tangled in her hair and becomes a great fishing net. And that net catches all the animals of the oceans. So we lose our fish and our seals, and we won't get anything to eat. So we have to send our shaman down to comb her hair, but that is a dangerous journey. Maybe he won't survive the journey. And when that hair is combed, it's long and beautiful, and all the animals will come back. But because of that, also when a guy had did something wrong in old times, if a guy walked on the ocean and he fell through the ice for no apparent reason, it wasn't because the ice was maybe soft there or something like that. It could possibly be because he had done something really bad and the mother of the ocean killed him.